Hey crypto friends, for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Garrett and welcome to Altcoin Radar. Today we are going to be taking a look at the Bitcoin charts and we're going to see where it might be headed, and we will cover both bullish and bearish scenarios as well, just to simply cover all of the possibilities. Now, for those of you who love trading crypto and would like to try out the same exchange that I use on a daily basis, feel free to go ahead and try out the Blowfin exchange here with the link in the video description down below this video. I personally love this exchange because they allow anybody from anywhere to be able to sign up and trade crypto futures. So if you are from the United States like I am and you want to trade crypto futures, you can do it right here on the Blowfin exchange. So guys, let's go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin right now on the daily and weekly chart. Bitcoin's got this all-time high for this cycle currently at right around, we're just going to say $74,000, pretty much $73,800, right around in that area. And we have literally came down quite a bit, and we've been kind of just literally just on a roller coaster ride, pretty much between the ranges of 54,000, right around, or actually no, 53,300 and 73,800. And it's been literally like an absolute roller coaster this entire time. To be honest, it's kind of getting annoying, but realistically, the longer that we stay within this range, and if we do continue to stay in this range, eventually there's going to hopefully be a decent breakout towards the end of it and back up, higher to the upside. But obviously, none of us can see the future. None of us know exactly what's going to happen, so we can't say that that's going to happen for sure. All we can do is speculate based on what the candlesticks are currently telling us right now. And what they are currently telling us right now is, let's see here, we dropped big time in this first big drop right here, and then we went back up and tried to go back up again, and we created pretty much a double top up here, and we ended up dropping big time down to the downside and creating this new range low around here at right around $53,300. And just recently, within the last few weeks, we have started to go back on a little bit of an uptrend and started to go back upwards, but apparently we ended up getting stopped right around this area again, right around pretty much the $70,000 area, and it's lower than the previous area we were up in as well. So that's honestly not good news. I do not like to see that. Realistically, as you guys can clearly see, we've been going down now for about 4 days. It just seems to me that we just don't have the momentum it takes right now to be able to go up higher and breach this 73,800 level. I don't know what's going on. Nobody knows really what's going on, but realistically, we're all hoping for the big move to be happening either when rates get cut or when the election happens, and hopefully a good election outcome happens. So if that does end up happening, we will for sure most likely end up going up and breaking this level here at 73,800. But obviously we can't be for sure. Nobody knows because we can't see the future. So what we are looking at right now is we are currently trading within right around between the 60,000 area and the 63,800 area. We recently did just drop down into that. We broke this level of support that we had right around the 63,800 level, and it looks like we could end up coming down to the 60,000 area again. Now we really need to see 60,000 hold. It would be very nice for us to see 60,000 holds, for us to see $60,000 hold. And it would be nice to have a bounce off of here. And the reason why it would be nice to have a bounce off of here is because it would technically mean that, okay, we've got our bottom here and we created a higher low right here. Usually when we start creating macro or higher and higher lows on the macro, it usually means we're going to continue to go up higher and higher in a step-by-step fashion. So let's hope for now, as far as what we're looking at right now in the current time that we're looking at, let's hope that we only end up going down to like 60,000 or something like that and end up bouncing back to the upside and going even higher. That's realistically what we all want to see. But obviously reality has to set in, and it could eventually, obviously there's also a lot of talk about, potentially, there's a lot of talk of people saying that 73,800 is the current top or is the all-time top for this current cycle. And again, we don't know that for sure. Nobody knows that for sure, all right? But if it is, then obviously, I would fully expect that we are going to continue to create these lower and lower highs each time we go up. So obviously, we peaked here at 73,800 and then we came down and then we went back up, but we only peaked here at right around 72,000. And then we we went down, and then we went back up, and we peaked here at 70,000. All right. So as you guys can clearly see, these lower and lower highs that we're creating each time on the macro, they're about a couple thousand less each and every single time. Now, eventually, if this truly is the beginning of a new bear market for Bitcoin, and we do continue to, go downwards instead of upwards, then we can fully expect that obviously these ranges of drops are going to get larger and larger as the drops go on. All right. So we do have to keep an eye on that as well. Now, if we go ahead and turn on some EMAs, we can clearly see that obviously, we've got our 200 period EMA down here. And again, this is going to come right up to the $60,000 area as well once we get to that point. And if price ends up coming down to that point, we need Bitcoin to literally bounce off of that level right there. If it bounces off of that level and we continue back upwards to the upside and get above all of these EMAs again, we'll be looking pretty darn good, to be brutally honest with you. Now, the other thing to look at here is RSI. As you guys can clearly see, we crossed over the moving average on the RSI, and we have been trending downwards ever since as well. And it has been a pretty steep decline as well, as you guys can clearly see it here on the chart. Now, when this ends up moving down to completely way oversold territory, way at the bottom towards the 30 level, hey, that's kind of where I'm talking about here as far as Bitcoin opening the next daily candle and possibly going down to 60,000 down here. Once that happens, we will technically probably be all the way down here to way oversold territory here on Bitcoin again, and we are clear. We will officially be clear at that point for another good potential move backwards or back to the upside again. So that is ultimately my big hope as far as what happens here. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the weekly chart real quick and see if there's anything different there. Now, as you guys can clearly see on the weekly chart, there's really not much. I mean, it's really pretty much the same thing happening. The weekly chart, we had this big giant wick here on the last weekly candle, but then this current weekly candle that we're in, which we've got 3 days left on it, we just completely tanked to the downside, and that's pretty sad, to be honest with you. But it could have been a much needed drop. Right now we are trending right around this 20 period EMA that we've got going on here. Now there is a possibility where the next week it could end up bouncing off of it and going back up to the upside, or it'll continue to keep dropping, and it'll keep dropping down to the 50 period EMA and even further if things continue to stay extremely bearish. Okay. Now, also here on the weekly chart, as you guys can clearly see, RSI did its thing. Usually when RSI does not have enough momentum to cross above the moving average here on the RSI, usually it's going to end up bouncing backwards to the downside. And as you guys can clearly see, that's exactly what happened here. So we can fully expect that price is going to continue to drop little by little, and that is why I ultimately think that we will probably end up going down to this $60,000 level, and hopefully that is it for now, and we will end up bouncing from that level. That is the ultimate hope anyway. So overall here, guys, now before I go ahead and wrap up this video, if you feel like you got some decent value out of it, please make sure and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the like button below the video, and leave me a comment on your personal thoughts on where you think the price of Bitcoin is going to go here in the short to midterm. And with that said, for those of you who stuck around and watched this video throughout the whole thing, thank you guys very much for watching. I appreciate all of you very much. And with that said, I hope to see all of you in my future videos.